Wakey, wakey, smell those eggs and bacon. It's time for Breakfast Talk, a podcast covering a range of entrepreneurial and independent comics creation topics first thing in the morning. Of course, please like and share if you're enjoying our special seasoning. And be sure to subscribe to join us every Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. Let's talk.
Welcome to Breakfast Talk. This is episode 8, Document versus Create. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. I am Greg of Sierra Nova Comics, founder, creator, writer. Yeah.
Here we go. That's the whole reason we were doing this stuff. I'm Dylan of Sierra Nova Comics. I am the CTO and editor-in-chief, as well as the website guy, which falls under CTO.
What's up, guys? I'm Hector Hilo from New Leaf Studios. I'm the art director, pretty much all-around dude, social media. I write a little bit, pretty much founder, co-founder. I do a lot of stuff.
Cool.
Topic here, what are we talking about?
It's Document versus Create, garyvee, basically. So
So, like, the first thing you should think about when documenting or creating is that Greg isn't wearing a blue shirt.
I'm not.
I know we're not matching today, unfortunately.
We're black and blue.
Didn't get the memo.
He's got a little bit of yellow, a little black and yellow. Black and yellow, black and yellow.
Oh, snap.
But, yeah, no. So Gary Vee's concept of the document versus create is basically what we're doing right now, as opposed to being very, what's it called, polished and setting up a studio. I got sticky notes on a wall, and Greg's looking like Greg. And, we're just kind of recording what we're doing here, and we're sharing that while we're doing it. So it's not so much trying to stage something and make it look perfect and polished. The goal is to simply get content out there so that people know more about you. And like one of the best things to think about is something that I'm doing actually with another company I'm working with. But the idea is a podcast, for example, could be very clear and clean. But then you want to share stuff on Instagram, Facebook, like in your stories. And so you want to have stuff that's very loose. You want people to get to know you. So you should share your creations, like you should share your drawings, your comics, etc. But you want to be able to have that background, like, hey, here's a couple sketches. This is what my workspace looks like. This is how I get in the mood. You can show all the weird Zen stuff you're doing.
Right.
So, that's definitely something you want to think about when you're like, oh, I don't have time to create content to promote my channel. It's like people can go to Marvel if they want to get really good comics, right? Unless someone wants to just bash on Marvel. Like, if you want good comics, there's Marvel and DC. If you want to connect with the new creators that have new artwork, new stories to tell, they want to connect with you as the creator, writer, artist, etc. And so you want to be able to share that information. That's the document part. Show them what your life is like. Don't try to hide behind a green screen and make life look amazing. Show them all the fun stuff and crazy stuff, good and bad, that's happening around you.
Right. Yeah, and it's like, I think a lot of us, especially when we're approaching creating things, right? Like putting things out there on social media, we get so fixated on like the appearance of our company, it's like we get a little insecure because we're not like a big company and because we don't have everything figured out yet. So we try to like overcompensate by just having like these really cool images and not showing the background. Like, we never want to draw the curtain back and like show them kind of like what's going on, behind the scenes. But I think that's to a lot of people, and I think it's been very clearly demonstrated, it's super interesting. It's super interesting to see what your process is. It's super interesting just to see where you work, your philosophy on how you approach your work. Again, the daily, grind, the little things that come up, the technical things you have to deal with. My keyboard is no longer good anymore. I think something spilled on it. My cat spilled something on it, and now it's done. So now I have to figure out another keyboard. I'm using this old clunky thing now.
Every time I told my cat to use a coaster, it refused.
He never does. And they, that it's that they don't have thumbs either, so they can't pick up the cup. So it just slips between their paws.
Mittens.
Poorly designed creatures. But anyway, But yeah, just like all the little things, the frustrations, like you were saying, like the good and bad, people really do enjoy seeing that stuff. And it is good content. It's not bad content. And I think that's what we have to dispel really when it comes to that stuff is like, just because you're showing things like peeking behind the curtain doesn't mean that that's not good content to show people. It just means that it's more genuine. And it might be something you're insecure about, but at the same time, I think that it really is super interesting to people, like every time I see a post in like a creator group of like, what's your workspace look like? It's always interesting just to scroll through those pictures. And usually there's like 10, 20 of them, and it's just everybody's collaborating and sharing their pictures and stuff. And then that turns into this ridiculously long conversation where everybody in the creator group is showing their workspace. And, I can imagine it works the same way with somebody who doesn't work in that creative field, just to see kind of how everybody's setup is different.
Yeah, and I was gonna say the other thing too about that good and bad thing, and you're not sure. Like, I still remember that for the longest time, I was trying to figure out how to make myself create more content, meaning document, but just put out more content. And I couldn't figure out a trigger. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be that guy that takes pictures of my breakfast, just every day. And that way, like for the rest of the day, I would remember to take pictures because it'd be one of the first things I do. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to share this. And then from there on, I would continue sharing pictures throughout the day. And basically, what ended up happening was like a couple months went by. I did that almost every day, and suddenly, like a couple days went by. It was a weekend. I got real busy. I didn't post anything, and suddenly I started getting messages from my followers like, "Yo, where's your breakfast at? Like, what happened?" and then I would post like a different breakfast because I eat the same breakfast every day. I'd post something different. And like, what happened to breakfast? Like, where's the grapefruit? Where's the whatever? Like, just it's interesting what people are watching. Like, you don't know what they want to see. So
Yeah,
share everything, and they'll just choose what they want to see. And
exactly.
that's something that people don't realize. You can't put too much content out there because the algorithms for Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of those, if they get tired of seeing your content, it'll just slowly show a little bit less of it. So you want to put as much out there as possible. So if someone does want to consume nothing but you all day, they can. And if they want to consume a little less, then the algorithm will slowly do that for them.
Yeah.
There's actually a book from Gary Vee, Jab, 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 Right Hook. And that's actually like when you're creating and documenting, you have to jab a bunch of times before you give a right hook. And me personally, I don't give that many right hooks. Don't do that on purpose. It's just how like the content flows when we're creating. So it's just like podcast. I guess the right hook would probably be listen to our podcast, but it's mostly like other people on there. So still kind of a jab. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, on that, like the point is that these document things are a bunch of the jabs. That's what they
Yeah.
are. So you do need to remember that you do want to ask people to follow you, ask people to do stuff. But the point is that typically someone won't post for 3 days and then they'll be like, "Hey, come check out my comment." Like that's just a right hook. You're asking for something. You haven't given me any value.
Right.
So like Greg was saying, like you want to be the documenting part is giving away value. You're letting somebody into your world so they can see what it looks like on the back end. So when you finally go, hey, shoot me your email because I got a newsletter I can send to you with some more information about cool stuff going on in our community, suddenly they're actually intrigued to do so because you've been giving so much. But don't forget to ask after you start documenting. You want to make sure that you do an equal amount, or not equal amount of both, but get in that little ratio. You want to give about 3 times, ask once. Maybe give 5 times, ask once.
Yeah.
Bless you, ghost of Greg's apartment.
Yeah. The ghost just sneezed. Yeah. About that right hook though. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell.
Yeah, boy.
Leave in the comments something that's, engage with us.
Yeah, positive, hopeful, critique, whatever.
Yeah, anything. Do you like our episodes? Do you want us to go away forever and never return? Go into a dark cave? Anything. Just like engagement.
I mean, even if we were in a dark cave, we try to document it, right?
Like, look, these cave drawings.
Exactly.
Or look, darkness again.
Again, day 44, more darkness.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So that was episode 8. Uh, what the
Where do we go from here?
We go to episode 9, which will come out, next time. Probably,
Ballsy.
next week. Next week after this is out. So, every Monday morning, 10 a.m.
Monday.
10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. Yeah.
Sweet.
Breakfast talk.
That was a good one, Greg. You got in it.